Hello, good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming to the Business Before Hours today. We're going to get started. If you can all please take your seats. My name is Yvonne Sepulveda. I'm the President CEO for the Marysville Tulalip Chamber of Commerce. Again, thank you for being here this morning. I know it's with the roads were icy, so I appreciate you all being here. I'd like to welcome all our elected officials that are here this morning. If I can have you wave and please hold your applause until the end. We have Mayor John Nehring, Steve Mueller, City Council, Camille Norton, Marysville City Council, and Tom King, Marysville City Council. Elected officials for Tulalip Tribe, we have Mel Sheldon, and our Snohomish County elected officials that are here this morning, Nate Nehring, Joe Marine, Mayor of Mukilteo, Sam Lowe, Snohomish County Council, Brett Gailey, Mayor of Lake Stevens, and Casey Franklin, Mayor of Everett. Can we give them all a round of applause, please? Now I'd like to introduce our Board of Directors for the Marysville Tulalip Chamber of Commerce. This morning we have J.J. Frank, Greg Canahan, Todd Fallman, Tony Matthews, Felicia Kreider, Tracy Goldsby, Kevin Daniels, and Jason Smith. Can we give them all a round of applause, please? And now I'd like to introduce our sponsor for this morning's Business Before Hours. I'd like to welcome Peter, I'm going to say your last name wrong, Peter, from the Marysville Historical Society. Can we give him an applause?
Thank you, Yvonne. My name is Peter Condilius. I'm the president of the Marysville Historical Society. I've been doing that job for about 2 months now, and we're having a lot of fun over there. And I thought I'd come today and update all of you that know about the Historical Society about what we've been up to. And I know there's a lot of you that probably don't know about us, so I thought I'd introduce our organization to you. We are the largest nonprofit, all-volunteer-run museum in Snohomish County. So what that means is every dollar that we get donated to us goes straight to preserving history and educating the public. No overhead, no employees. We all do it volunteer-run. The questions that I usually ask when I talk to organizations about the museum, the first question, and it's highly scientific, so I need you to be completely honest. Who knew Marysville had a museum? Raise your hands. Okay, that's impressive. Who has been to our museum? Okay, I like to see that. We currently operate 2 facilities. So we operate the Marysville Museum, which opened in 2017 on Armour Road, which is our main museum. We also operate the Gale Pioneer Home in Jennings Park, which I'm sure a lot of you have been to. It's been in Jennings Park since the 80s. And during the COVID lockdown shutdowns, we were able to revamp the interior of the Gale home to be nearly 100% period. So if you haven't been since we reopened, you should really take a look because it looks a lot different in there. We've got a lot different furniture, different displays, but everything represents what it would have looked like when it was built in 1884. And that is open on Saturdays and Sundays between Memorial Day and Labor Day. The mission of the... this is really finicky. Oh, geez. The mission of the Marysville Historical Society is to identify, preserve, disseminate the history of the greater Marysville area. The word that I want to point out is disseminate, because a lot of museums out there will collect things, put them in cases, and let them gather dust, and kind of get weird about letting people see their collections. We're not that way. We want people to come in. We want people to interact with history, learn about our history, see our artifacts, and learn about Marysville. And to that end, since we opened in 2017, we've been offering free tours to any school group that wants to come. And at this point, we've been able to offer free tours to every elementary school in Marysville. We haven't been able to restart that since COVID, unfortunately, but we're really looking forward to that. And I think that's a really key piece of what we do is the education. And another key piece in the dissemination category is a lot of people contact us about their family history. We get about 4 to 5 requests a month of people that want to see pictures of their family house, just learn information about their ancestors that they didn't know before. And I won't bore you with some of the stories, but one of them that was really cool was we were able to find a gentleman that had an ancestor with an unmarked grave here in Marysville, and we were able to place a marker on their grave. And they died in 1896, so that's a long way ago. But that was one thing that we were really proud to have done. A little history of our organization is it was founded in 1974 by Valda Bloom. She was a co-owner of Bloom's Department Store in downtown Marysville. She saw that the history of Marysville was kind of going by the wayside and wanted to have an organization devoted wholly to the preservation of that history. And her goal, and the original goal of the museum, of the Historical Society, was to one day build a museum. So that was 1974. It got done in 2014. So it took a little ways because there were a few bumps in the road and there were a few things that came up. And that was, the first one was the Pioneer Gale Home, which was purchased in 1984. It was up on Getchell Hill. The Marysville Historical Society purchased it, dismantled it piece by piece, and then reconstructed it in Jennings Park. So in 1985, they were able to open it to tours on the weekends between Memorial Day and Labor Day, like I said. This thing is really going. In 1999, the Historical Society learned that there were plans in the works to demolish the historic Marysville Water Tower. Some city leaders believed that it would cost less to demolish it than to give the needed upgrades that were required, which it required substantial upgrades, including a new coat of paint. So through the leadership of Steve Eden, who's the president at the time and vice president currently, the Historical Society started a campaign to save the water tower. They sold posters, waved signs on bridges, did everything it took to raise the money, which included taking a large sum of money from the museum savings account, the account that they had been using to save for the museum, and giving it to the city for the preservation of the water tower, which is really timely because I'm sure as a lot of you have seen the water tower, the new paint job on the water tower was unveiled this week. And I know Steve will never say it, but if Steve Eden hadn't stepped up, we wouldn't have a water tower today. So if you are driving down and you see the new coat of paint, thank Steve Eden, because he was a monumental leader in that. In 2006, we merged with the Norwesco Telephone Pioneer Museum, which was on Grove Street. Because of this merger, we now show over 100 years of telephone history, a lot of which is operational. So when we bring the kids into the museum, we have a lot of phones that they can talk to each other on. And if you go to the Gale home, we have period-specific phones, and they can actually talk to each other from one side of the house to the other, and they can ring the bell, and the kids really enjoy that. And in 2014, we finally realized our dream. We broke ground on the Marysville Historical Society Museum, which a lot of you have been to. The construction was kind of slow. It was start and stop and start and stop. But we finally got there in June of 2017. We were able to officially open our doors to the public. Since then, we have been able to host school groups, and we also rent out our facility. That's our main source of income, is the rental of our facility. And many community groups now wholly meet at our organization. So we have churches that meet regularly, different community groups, and things like that. So, unlike every other organization, COVID took a toll on us. We were part of the governor's last step in reopening. So that meant that the museum was closed for 13 months. And for 18 months, we had nobody wanted to rent out our facility. So for 18 months, that meant no income. We were able to survive, though, however, through the generous donations of people in our community and people that believed historic preservation is something that's important. So we're getting back on our feet this year, and we're really, really, really excited to invite you to a fundraiser and a dinner that we're having on April 2nd here at the Tulalip Resort Casino, a night to celebrate Marysville. Marysville turns 131 years old this spring, so we thought, what better way to celebrate Marysville turning 131 than to come support the Marysville Historical Society, have dinner, have dancing. It'll be a great evening. And the inspiration that we had for this event was when Marysville turned 50 years old, in spring of 1941, they had a dinner and a dance in the gym of Marysville High School. So now Marysville's turning 131. Let's have dinner and have a dance. So we're going to have live music. There'll be a dance floor. There'll be dinner. I hope you join us. It will be a lot of fun, and hopefully we raise a couple dollars for the museum. I've got invites over there if you'd like to snag a few. Also, if you'd like to purchase a ticket, we can take cash, check, and card today right over at the table, and I'll be sitting over there at the end. And I'd like to, now when I was in college, I hated it when people ended their presentations with quotes. I just think it's lazy to end your presentation with a quote, but here I am doing it. This is a really good quote from a really famous novelist and historian, Robert Penn Warren. And he said, "History cannot give us a program for the future, but it can give us a fuller understanding of ourselves and our common humanity so that we can better face the future." And I think that's why the Marysville Historical Society is important and why people value the work that we do so much. Thank you guys. Have a good morning.
Thank you, Peter, for that presentation. Can we give him another round of applause, please? Our next speaker is the Mayor of Marysville, John Nehring, to give his annual State of the City address. Mayor Nehring has been serving as a mayor of Marysville since 2010 and was a member of the Marysville City Council for 8 years before that. Mayor Nehring is a tireless advocate for the city of Marysville and its many businesses. Please help me welcome Mayor John Nehring.
Thank you, Yvonne, so much. Appreciate that. Well, it's a real pleasure to be with you here. I always look forward to this date on the calendar, an opportunity to come and share about what's going on in the city of Marysville and what's coming for 2022. I want to thank the Marysville Tulalip Chamber of Commerce for this opportunity. It's always a great venue and a great opportunity to do this. And thanks to the Chamber for the great work they're doing. Let's give them a real round of applause for the work the Chamber does in the community. Well, it's great to see all of you. A few thank yous from me before we get started. When we do a State of the City, I get the honor of coming up and sharing with you all these great things. There's a lot of work that goes on by a lot of people at the city of Marysville, sometimes behind the scenes. And so I want to recognize my director team, first of all. And if you could stand up here if you're on the City of Marysville director team. I know we've got, go ahead, Tara Mizell and Karen Latimer, Jeff Laycock, Jason Smith, our Chief Eric Scarpin, our CAO, Gloria Hiroshima, right back there, and Sandy Langdon's our finance director, Haley Miller's our community development director, and then who am I missing? Shout out if I miss. I know I missed somebody probably in that. I think I got them all. Okay. And then John Neal, I want to thank John. He's on our finance department for coming as well. You know, this team, we've got a magnificent team, and we've actually turned our director team over almost in full over the last year or two here. And so we've got a lot of new directors that have stepped up and are doing just phenomenal work in your community. I also want to recognize Chief Martin McFalls, although the fire department doesn't report up through the city. It's a regional fire authority. Thank you, Chief McFalls, for the great work you do. And then I want to thank our city council. I know we've got some council members here. I see Council President Norton and Council Member Steve Muller down here. Is there any other council members in the audience? Our city council, I'm just so grateful for the council that we have. Throughout the years as mayor, I've gone to a lot of events, AWC events and other events, and you hear some real horror stories about the divide of government between executive and legislative branches. We've just never had that here in Marysville. Our city council really works well as a team. Doesn't mean that we always agree or that they always agree amongst one another, but the vision is consistent of moving Marysville forward. And the egos are all checked at the door, and it's just put your head down and get the work done. So how about a round of applause for our city council for the work that they do? And I'm also really appreciative of some of my fellow mayors who are in attendance here today. Mayor Franklin from Everett, Mayor Brett Gailey from Lake Stevens, and Joe Marine from Mukilteo, and there may be others. If there's any other mayors here, appreciate that. And I want to thank my good friend Mel Sheldon from the Tulalip tribes, who I saw as well. Tulalip's a great partner for the city of Marysville, and Mel has been a steadfast partner for several years now. And I appreciate all that you do, Mel, and all that the Tulalip Board of Directors does for our community. Well, so serving you in 22 is kind of the theme here. And as we get started, I should thank the folks that really helped me put this together and did the bulk of the work on it. That's Connie Meny over here, Connie and Bridget Larson. Bridget as well, and then Katie Cureless, who's helping as well, and we will be helping to run this. So we start with budget. We do that every year. We try and start with budget. And there's a slide we have here, if we could go to that, kind of breaking down our city budget. Actually, if you look at that slide, it's the thing that I like about this is it breaks down. We've got a $126 million city budget, so which is a lot. There's no doubt about it. But when you think about it, an enterprise fund are things that you pay into: water, sewer, garbage, stormwater. Those are fees. And so if you take that out, that's $70 million of that $126 million. And I think that's important to note, because you can't take money from those accounts and pay for streets. You can't take money from those accounts and pay for police officers and things of that nature. And so that's how that breaks down. I think it's an important graphic to see. And then you've got your general fund right there, which is where you do get the opportunity to pay for police and streets and parks and all of those type of things. So I like to point that out so folks just get an understanding of that. And I get a lot of comments and feedback from citizens where they say, well, our property taxes went up a lot this year. And it's important to note, I think, that the city's portion of your property taxes are about 10%. About 1 out of every $10 of your property taxes actually goes to the city of Marysville. That's surprising to a lot of people. And your city council has not raised the city's portion of the property taxes in 7, 8, 9 years. I mean, I don't even remember the last time. It's been close to a decade. They don't even take the 1% that's allowed under the Hyman Initiative. Yeah, so that's worth a hand. And so, yes, your assessments may go up from the county assessor, or other taxes that affect your property taxes may go up, but the city portion is not. I want to thank our finance team for their great work on the bond rating. We got that upgraded a while ago to AA+. We've had 14 years of clean financial audits consecutively. And as I'm looking at that, I just remembered, Bridget worked really hard on a video that we were supposed to show. So if I can go backwards while I get a glass of water here, we're going to show that video, and then we'll continue from there. So, Katie, if you're able to tee that up, and I'm sorry I'm going a little out of order.
And thank you for joining us for another virtual coffee class here this evening. We're here to celebrate the opening of this beautiful addition to our parks inventory.
4, 3, 2, 1.
I trust and have personally witnessed how our local business owners have taken great care when allowed to be open to provide for the safety of both their employees and their customers.
I think some cities would probably throw in the towel on certain things, but our folks really think outside the box. They find ways to get stuff built, and they find ways to get it done on budget and ahead of time. This is we paid for this.
That's right.
Yeah.
Some of the highlights from last year, I was like looking at that. The one thing that I've seen that several times now is at that pickleball court ribbon cutting. I didn't have any dirt on my shovel. I was throwing air into the air. So if we can get back maybe to the finance part, and so closing out those clean years of executive audits, I think that's important too. There's no more important responsibility of government accountability-wise than running clean finances. And Sandy Langdon and her team have done an amazing job of that, and we really appreciate that. And our director team and the accountability of the finances, I think, is critical. Another thing that we've done financially here over the last few years is with our CARES grants. You know, the pandemic was rough on our local business community, is rough on citizens. And we got about $1.8 million that we pumped into the local economy in 2020 that your city council approved and sent out. About 1.4 million of that was in the form of grants to local businesses. And the rest of it was in utility assistance, in rental assistance, mortgage relief assistance. And so, you know, I was really, quite frankly, disappointed in the way that we shut down local business. Not we, I guess we didn't do it, but I was disappointed that local businesses got shut down during the pandemic. It didn't seem to make sense that you could walk into a Walmart or a Costco and stand next to thousands of people, but you couldn't go into the creamery in downtown Marysville or any number of other businesses, right? And so I think the council and my focus was really on how do we help our small business community during this really difficult time that is of no fault of their own. And so we got so many letters and emails and calls from them on how that helped get them through that, and as well as citizens that were struggling during that time. So really pleased to be able to report that. We also get community development block grant funds. We're a large enough city where we get that about $300,000 every 2 years. So there's some examples of where we put that money into areas of the community that really need it and can benefit from it. Public safety is an area on everybody's mind. All my fellow mayors that are here, all those in elected office, council members are thinking public safety right now because it's just, it's probably, there's no greater function of government than public safety. And it's a situation where right now we're kind of at a crossroads on what we do, particularly in Washington State, but nationwide in this conversation around public safety. On the next slide, we have a chart that'll show you the amazing work of our police department from 2014. Look at that downward trajectory of crime. And I'd like you, if you would, give a hand to our police officers in Marysville. So grateful to have Chief Scarpin. We hired him a couple years ago, and it's one of the better hires that we've made. Have really grown to appreciate the work that he's done and the amazing integrity that he shows, and so he's continued that. And Chief Smith before him and the team has always driven these rates down. So I remember back in 2014 when we set out to do this goal and the steady downward trajectory. And then I remember sitting down with Chief Scarpin in 2020 during the pandemic, and you see it really dipped down there. We were saying this is just not sustainable. The crime rates were dropping rapidly in 2020. A lot of it was because people were at home. You can't break into people's homes really, or it's harder to when they're there. A lot of people weren't out doing stuff, so there was fewer car prowls, fewer cars being stolen. So you had an abnormal dip in 2020, and there's no doubt about it. You know, we're transparent about this. It's ticked up here in 2021, and it's gone up in January of 2022. If you compare it with 2019, though, you see there's still if you take out the abnormal year of 2020, there is still a downward trajectory, which I'm grateful for. But I'm going to tell you, I am concerned. I am concerned with the direction this state is taking on public safety, and I'm not ashamed or afraid or embarrassed to tell you that. I think there were some really bad laws passed at the state level that have tied the hands of our police officers, and that we are paying the price for that in local communities. And we're working right now with our state legislators. Chief Scarpin's on the front lines of this, and I know Chief Templeman and Everett and others, to try and work with our state legislators and get some clarity and maybe some correction, some course correction there. And to their credit, they're making those efforts. I mean, there's some good corrections in place right now that if they make it through all the way to the end and pass, it will really help, I think, bring us back to a better, more balanced place. So kudos to the state legislators that are doing that, including our local ones that are working with us on that. We appreciate it, and we appreciate that they're willing to take a look at maybe some of these things and help us change course a bit. Calls for service. Look at that. It bounces around a lot. We had 64,355 calls last year. Officer-initiated calls were 38% of those. Why is that important? Well, it tells you that your police aren't just responding reactively all day long. That's a good chunk of what they do, right? The big part of their job is to respond to 911 calls. But when they have the time to do so, they're also patrolling neighborhoods and business districts and proactively calling in 38% of calls on things that they see. Average response times are really critical. On priority 1 calls, it's about just over 4 minutes, 4 minutes and 4 seconds. And so that's a really good response time. Of course, we'd like to make it better. We'll try to make it better. That is our goal. One of the things we need to do is get fully staffed up. Chief Scarpin and I meet on this all the time. We've got, at any given time over the last year or so, 12 to 15 open positions in our police department. That's a lot for a city our size. And I'm sure other cities around us would say they have that many or even more. A lot of cities have even more. It's a tough environment to hire police officers right now throughout the country and certainly throughout this state. And so when we get fully staffed up, we'll be able to reinstitute our PROACT teams, where all they do is go out and proactively fight crime. We'll be able to get a traffic unit fully staffed, and we'll be able to do some of these things that we want to get back to doing proactively. And we're hiring feverishly, and we're going to continue hiring. And so if you know anybody who's qualified that wants to be a police officer, send them our way. We also have instituted Spider Tech. This is a great new customer service measure. We're big on customer service at the City of Marysville. We want to measure it. And here's one of the ways we do that. And our police department gets really high marks, as you can see, both overall and their personal interactions with them. Our embedded social worker team, I've talked about this over the years, and so I'll try not to belabor it, but I really love this team, so it's hard not to. This is a team that takes a social worker with a police officer, and they go out and they try and get at the crux of most of the crime in our community, which is drug-driven. Most of the crime in our community and throughout the state, I think. I know for a fact here in Marysville, but I think we're pretty safe to say throughout the state, most of the crime is drug-related. People are breaking into cars, stealing cars, breaking into homes, breaking into stores to feed drug habits. It's just that simple. If you fix the drug problem, you'll go a long ways towards fixing the crime problem. And that's what this team's about. They made over 1,700 contacts this year, 166 substance abuse assessments. They got 46 people off our streets and graduated through drug treatment this year. That's amazing. Secured housing for 57 people. And our continued partnership with Arlington, Lake Stevens, and the Tulalip tribes on a grant-funded North County Impact Program is something that's really making a dent here, too, in the mental health area of this. So proud of this team. And we have a carrot and stick approach in Marysville. So if you don't take the help, we don't just say, well, continue doing drugs and sit under a bridge somewhere. We're going to prosecute your crimes, and we're going to look to put you in jail. And a lot of our referrals come out of our jail. It's tough love. I could tell you some amazing stories. One of the ones more recently, I've told you some in past years, was I had an interview with the Linwood Times, and they put it out on Facebook, and a gentleman tweeted back at me and said, hey, thank you for that tough love stance. I know it's unpopular at times, but I got put in jail for this. And because of that, I got clean. And now I'm I think it's multiple years sober now and working and back on his feet. You can go to the Linwood Times and watch. They juxtapose an interview they did with me with an interview they did with him. And I like that because don't take a politician's word for it. Listen to the guy who actually went through it. But to me, we have a really warped sense of compassion right now throughout the country and really throughout Washington State particularly, in that we say, well, you know, if you're doing drugs, we maybe will help you find a safe injection site, or we'll ask you if you want services, but if you don't take them, well, okay, we'll just let you live in a park or in a bridge, under a bridge somewhere. Usually till you are abandoned by anybody who ever loved you and maybe die or things like that. To me, that's not compassion. There's no safe way to inject heroin, and there's no real good way to live out under a bridge and steal from people and shoot up heroin every night. So we're going to go after people and look to help them lead with compassion. Always lead with compassion. And that's best for all of us. Certainly the person suffering from drug addiction, and certainly all the businesses and the communities. And it's the best way to do it is to try and get them off that addiction and get them clean. And that'll in turn take care of your crime problem. And when they go to, thank you. When they go to jail, if they go to jail, if they want the help, we're the first ones to send someone up there and get them out and into a treatment program. So it's always lead with compassion. Our custody team does an amazing job. That's a good segue into them. We're getting ready to open our new Civic Campus and hiring up new folks for custody staff there. But we didn't have any outbreak of COVID throughout the entire pandemic due to some amazing work by that staff to keep the inmates safe and themselves and the staff safe. So great job to our custody officers. We are implementing body-worn cameras this year, a great pilot program that we completed last year, and so now we'll be able to get that on all our officers. It increases our transparency for the community and the officers. Honestly, it protects them a lot of times, and it's just a really good thing that I'm pleased that we're able to do, and for the council for funding that, and also the grant money we got to help that. Our fire district, if I could go on to that. Again, the fire district does not report up to the city of Marysville. It's a regional fire authority, but they are very closely aligned with us, and we work regularly with them. We have council members on the Regional Fire Authority board. Look at the emergency calls they made this year, 86% of them medical related. They have been busy, working hard. And let's give a hand for our firefighters and our EMS crews. Another thing I'm passionate about is infrastructure. Karen and Jeff, who run our Public Works Department, will tell you that. It's hard not to get me excited when we're talking about new roads, interchanges, and streets, and paving them and all that. So we put a lot into that. Our city council is very diligent about funding that as well. And our team's been amazing, really amazing at getting grant dollars. Millions and millions of state and federal grant dollars come into this community by Jeff and Karen's team writing those grants and getting them funded. And we get the same with parks and other departments as well. So a lot of these projects you're going to see, over half of the money comes, or half or more comes from the state or other grant programs. And I want to thank our state legislators from the 38th, June Robinson and Emily Wicks and Mike Sells. And from the 44th, we're not going to have the 44th anymore, but the 44th, Senator Steve Hobbs, before he became Secretary of State, has done yeoman's work. And the 39th, Carolyn Eslick, and others in the 39th that have helped us. This is a big thing. It's a team effort when we get these infrastructure dollars. So one of the projects we're doing right now is widening 100 to 104th. That's a tough area to widen over the bridge deck there. And Jeff, when will the drivers stop experiencing some of these impacts? This summer. Okay, so the light is at the end of the tunnel. This will widen 100 and 104th from 3 to 5 lanes. After that, we already have secured grant dollars to pay for about half of the widening from 104th to 116th. All total, I think that's about $10 million in grant dollars for those widening projects. And so all of state will be from 3 to 5 lanes by the end of 2023, which is a big thing for our community. Pavement preservation, you've got to take care of what you have. Our city council puts about $2 million into pavement preservation every year. The voters passed a transportation benefit district 8 or 9 years ago that allows us to do that, and we're grateful for that. So some of the ones paved last year were State Avenue from Grove to 80th, 47th from 84th to 76th, 84th Street Northeast to 76th Street Northeast. This year, 152nd from Smoky Point Boulevard to the BNSF spur will be paved, 51st from 152nd north to the city limit, and Schultes from 100 to 108th. So we'll continue to take care of our roads in that area. The 529 interchange and HOV lane, boy, this is, I talk to you about this every year. This was part of Connecting Washington that the state passed several years ago. Work closely with Senator Hobbs and others on this, and our partners in Everett, Mayor Franklin and her team, the Tulalip tribes, and the county was a huge supporter of this. And the county actually helped us fund the interchange justification report that led to us getting this grant. And so this will provide an HOV lane from Marine Drive and Everett into South Marysville, and then a new interchange off onto 529. Critical infrastructure project to help us with the failing intersection 199, exit 199 at 4th there, that backs all the way onto the freeway, particularly when a train comes through. So a lot of the south and east foothills Marysville traffic will exit off this new off-ramp, take our new First Street bypass and get up into Sunnyside and the east foothills. A lot of our through traffic that goes to Granite Falls or Arlington or maybe Lake Stevens or other areas will be able to use this as well and get more quickly up to 9. So I got Jeff and I got a really unwelcome phone call in December that stopped me dead in my tracks, because this has been funded and ready to go since 2016. Taxpayers have been paying gas tax on this since 2016, and we're ready to go out to bid at the end of 21. It's a state-led project. It's supposed to start moving earth at the end of 22 and real heavy construction in 23 and 24 to finish it off. And we found out that the state went out not once but twice to bid for this project and got no bidders within the designated amount. I think it was about $92.5 million for the whole thing, for the freeway, extra lane on the freeway, the interchange, all of it. Due to inflation, supply chain, the lack of employees, and all the things the economy is dealing with right now, they just weren't able to get anybody to bid on it for that amount. Well, that was very disappointing. I got on the phone with Mayor Franklin, and her team have been very supportive of this. The county council and County Executive Summers, Tulalip tribes, and of course Jeff and I have been riding herd on this since December. Hardly a day has gone by we haven't worked on this in some fashion. Our city council and I went through a 2-day marathon of meetings with all legislators involved in this in our districts, as well as transportation chairs. And we just made the case that we've got to backfill these dollars in this legislative session and keep this timeline on track. Keep the faith with the voters. The taxes have been paid on this for 6-7 years now. We've got to fund the projects that were already funded before we move on to other transportation priorities. And again, to the credit of our state legislators, Senate Transportation Chair Marco Elias, who doesn't represent Marysville directly, but he's a Snohomish County state senator, and our local legislators from the 38th have just worked tremendously hard on this. And then Jake Fye, State House Transportation Chair. And a lot of folks have worked on this. So this backfill money is in the current Senate Transportation package and the House Transportation package that will hopefully pass before they adjourn on March 10th. I'm very hopeful that it'll pass. And as long as it does, this will stay on track. And that's a very critical thing for our community. Railroad quiet zones is something that we've looked at. And that's something the council funded to do a study on, and we're looking at quiet zones. Right now we're in the stage of doing some engineering, finding out what they'll cost, but the long and the short of it is, if you can do enough infrastructure improvements around your rail crossings, you can get the trains to stop honking when they come through there. That's the basic idea, but it's very expensive, and it's going to take some time to do, and it's not easy to do, so we'll present that to the council when we get some dollar figures back, and we'll go from there. Now on to the LID improvements that we've done. Right down by the Opera House there, this is what you're looking at here when that's done. If you drive down there now, we've got current improvements going. This was another state grant that we got that's helping us pay for this. We got planter boxes, permeable pavers. It'll help with stormwater runoff and some new landscaping and flashing beacons. And it'll really make that part of our plan has always been, I've been talking about downtown revitalization for some time with you all. We try and beautify areas as we go, 3rd, and then we're down here in some of the new things that we've done with master planning and things in the downtown area will help with that as well. And then on 2nd Street, we're also going to do some improvements there that are real similar to this with a state grant. It'll look a lot like 3rd Street. So we're just trying to slowly beautify the public areas of downtown and attract new entities down there as well, and help our existing loved cultural businesses down there, particularly on 3rd and other areas. And then we also need to put in a stormwater treatment facility, another state grant for this. So we have a really creative team at Public Works, and rather than just, when you think stormwater treatment facility, you don't think, well, that might not look that great. Well, this is kind of what we're hoping to have it look like, something aesthetically pleasing that also accomplishes something really functional by cleaning stormwater for about 460 acres of our downtown. So looking forward to that project. And Peter Condoleezza, who just does an amazing job with Historical Society, I hope you enjoyed his presentation. Peter could tell you a lot more about the water tower than I can. Peter's a wealth of knowledge on the history of our community, but I want to thank the council for funding a refurbishment of the water tower and a brand new coat of paint and some other improvements. So hopefully you saw that unveiled last week. Sorry we don't have a picture of it. We put this together before that was unveiled, so we didn't. But if you drive by the water tower now, it'll look a lot better than it does right there, and it's just a great addition to that Civic Campus area. By the way, the water tower turned 100 years old, I think, last November. We welcome new businesses every year. Banner year in 2021. Of course, we're here at the Chamber, who's a great support for our new business community. I want to just say that we pride ourselves in being a business-friendly community. And are we always perfect? No. But CD Director Haley Miller and her team, and Haley's just done an amazing job over the last year or so, really improving our permitting and our planning processes. And so these are some of the new businesses that we are welcomed, and then we've got some coming in 22. There will be more than this, but these are the ones we know of. So excited about that. Love new business in Marysville, and that brings us to the Cascade Industrial Center. And I saw my friend Jim Collin, who owns the Toyota dealership out near this area. He's watched everything sprout up around there. Jim does a great job with that Toyota dealership. We love our auto row out there, and we also love the jobs base that we're trying to bring in out here. We've worked with the city of Arlington and the county, and our council's been diligent about protecting this area as our kind of our jobs base. Over 1,700 acres in Marysville, another 2,300 in Arlington. And it's coming to fruition a lot quicker, I think, than any of us thought. Even through the pandemic, it didn't slow down. So this could bring up to 20,000 family wage jobs to our community. And right now, you already see North Point development going up. I met yesterday with Salacia Fish Processing Plant that's going up. Smart Cap, MI5. I know I'm missing some. We could go on, but a great jobs base that's going in out there. I think Solely Organic, we just announced last week, going in out there, a great organic food company, and as well as businesses that already exist out there. And so we just love this area. We like to talk about live, work, and play in Marysville. Quality of life, I think, is really improving year over year. So we love that. And then we want to improve, though, the ability, if you want to work near or in Marysville, we want to provide family wage jobs that you can do that. So not everybody has to hit I-5 or 405. Well, I want to update you on our Civic Campus. This is a project that the voters approved here a few years back, and it's also being funded. Well, we're going to consolidate most city services in this building. The priority is the police department and the court building and a new jail there that really needed to happen. Our existing one was built in the 80s when we were a community, I think, of 10,000 or under. We've got officers working out of glorified closets, and it's not the type of building that works for a community our size. So this will definitely get that right-sized, and then we'll also have most of your other city services, a one-stop shop right here, sell off the current city hall, and the current police department building to help fund this. And we're also doing a complete landscape and improvements to the Comfort Park area. So you'll see all kinds of lighted paths, a new restroom facility there. The spray park will stay there. We'll have a new seating area, kind of an amphitheater-style seating area where we can do our concerts in the park. It's envisioned as a real community gathering area, a cultural kind of center for the community, hopefully. So really pleased with the progress there. We expect to move the public safety portion in, hopefully beginning of summer, June-ish, and then the rest by September, by August or September. And we'll have a community kickoff as well. So as we're moving in, we want to get the community in there so you can see it and tour it, and then we'll get things going in there. As we start to wrap up here, if you have questions and if there's time, I would love to take questions afterward. I'm always willing to take them offline as well, but would love to take some here if we have time. But wanted to just touch on quality of life a little bit. We opened up some great new parks this past year. One of them was Olympic View Park, which you saw in the video. If you haven't visited, this is a fantastic park. It's pictured right there, just opened up this year. Our parks team does such an amazing job taking care of all our parks and running all of our rec programs. The Bayview Centennial Trail Connector, that was the one where we had the gentleman ride up right during the ribbon cutting. And no, we didn't pay him. He actually was just riding on the trail. And he stopped and actually had a few nice words to say about how great the trail was. It was just fantastic. This is a great way for Marysville residents to connect with Centennial Trail. You can go along Bayview, and once you hit Getchell, 84th there, you go a couple blocks east, and you're on the connector, and that takes you right to Centennial. Other projects that we're working on, one would be the South Marysville Trail Connector that Mayor Galey and our team, Lake Stevens and Marysville, are working on. This would extend that south, kind of our Bayview south, towards Silver Hill Road and Lake Stevens. So that's in the design phase in 2022, and we hope to start construction after that. Another real success story that I want to let you know about is our Cedar Crest Golf Course. You know, this used to be a real drain on the general fund every year. Council members will know this too. We used to sit around scratching our heads going, wow, how do we stop subsidizing this to the tune of $300,000 or $400,000 a year out of our general fund? And it's the way this land was dedicated to us all the many decades ago, actually longer than that, was that it has to remain a parkland. In other words, you can't, even if we wanted to, I don't think we do, but even if you wanted to rezone it and put houses there or something, you couldn't. And so you could turn it into just a passive walking trail park, but then it wouldn't be bringing in any revenue, so your debt problem would be even greater. So the team, we all sat down, council and us, and thought, well, you know, why as a government are we trying to run a golf course? You know, not that we were horrible at it, but there's probably somebody who can do it a lot better. And so we found a private sector entity named Premier Golf who does this for a living and has economies of scale with courses they run all over that is able to really help us, and a business plan, and updated us with all kinds of new technologies and ways to get golfers there. For instance, just like a hotel, right? If I want to go golfing this afternoon, and if the golf course has an empty slot, let's say at 9:30 right out of here, well, it doesn't do any good for the course to have that slot sit empty. So instead of paying the full price, as the time starts coming, maybe they say, well, hey, you can get a twosome on there for half the price or whatever, just like a hotel room. Things like that, private sector thinking that they brought. Well, this course is blowing the doors off right now. Budget over 51% over budgeted income. 1.3 million in revenue in 19, 1.5 in 20, and 1.7 in 2021. We've paid off all of our debt. And now we'll be taking anything above and beyond what is made and paying off the general fund for the loans that they made to this course, as well as saving money to preserve the course and continue to invest in it, so it's the quality experience that our golfers expect. And our Parks, Culture, and Recreation team deserves a lot of credit for this as well. It's a public-private partnership, and Tara and her team have done an amazing job working with them, as well as our restaurant up there and everything that's going on. Real quickly, to try and wrap up here, Cedarfield Playground, we got to finally open and get some kids on it this year for Little League. That is awesome, turfed and lighted. Pickleball courts are coming. We need a couple more days of warm weather and dry weather, and then those will be fully coated and ready for prime time. And we got a great pickleball club that'll fill those things up. You won't believe how many people are going to be there. Because they are down at Cedar Crest on Saturdays when I go down there sometimes, and those courts are basically like playing on a street. So they're going to flock to these. A project we have coming as well, working closely with Councilmember Nehring and others at the county on the Strawberry Fields Athletic Complex here. County is working with us to potentially provide a grant, and I want to thank Councilmember Sam Lowe's here as well for his support on this and a number of other things also. This will turf a field, put bleachers on it, a new playground for kids, and also improvements to our dog park walk. So thanks to the county for your assistance on that, and we look forward to that project. Hopefully by the end of 22, if not, it'll maybe go into the first part of 23. Mother Nature's Window is another one. We're going to get some improvements there started, public parking area, an access road, and this is a great asset to our community that over the years you'll see improved and more public access for. And in closing, agency partnerships. You know, I mentioned some of them earlier. There's not time to list them all out, but I wanted to list them here. Economic Alliance Snohomish County is one we really work closely with. My friends at Community Transit, who I'm on the board with, is another big one, and Snohomish County is just a great one, and on and on and on. I've mentioned all the state grants we've got. Our Marysville School District, who we closely partner with, they have, of course, a separate governing entity, a separate board, and a separate superintendent, a newly hired superintendent. And school district's very important to us. We have, you've got to have a quality school district, and so we hope to continue on ongoing partnership with them and work hard with our Marysville School District in the coming years. And another really important partnership that's not on here, but I think we have a slide. I want to recognize Generations Community Church and Pastor Craig Laughlin for opening up a cold weather shelter here this winter. COVID really made it hard to open up cold weather shelters. The entities that had run them in the past were hesitant to do so. They had small areas, and they just were really hesitant to do it. He's got a pretty large area, opened it up. I remember being up there in between Christmas and New Year the night he opened it, and the really cold snap we had. And And a great partnership with the county, too. Snohomish County Human Services put some money behind this and some staffing to get it up and running with us. And Link Northwest, who's our local service provider right now, is running it. I want to thank Ryan and his team at Link. But especially in a week like this, that's critical to have that open, and we appreciate them. And finally, some of our service clubs like Rotary, Kiwanis, and the faith community that we work with, want to recognize them as well. And with that, I appreciate being able to share this overview of city services with you. I want to finally thank the citizens of our community and all you here, the business owners of our community. It is such an honor, and I mean this, it's not just words, it is such an honor and a pleasure and a privilege to serve as mayor of this community. I love this community and the people in it. There's nothing greater than walking through a grocery store or somewhere and having citizens come up and share their thoughts and having a coffee klatch and them sharing their thoughts with me. And we just have such a community spirit here, such a great community, such a giving community, a volunteer spirit that's just amazing. And so thank you for all that you do for Marysville. There is no us without you. I always like to say that to our team. Without the citizens and the business owners, there's no us without you. And so thank you, and I appreciate this. And I don't know if there's time for questions. Yes, okay. Happy to. If there is any questions, I'm happy to take them. I love that part of it. And can certainly take them offline as well. Does anybody have a question they'd like to ask here? Connie's got a mic right there. If she's waving right there. Oh, we got 2 mics. Okay. Yeah, we've got one up here, I think. Right up there by Chief.
Hi. So I was wondering, do we have any updates on the Grove Street overpass?
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Good question. So he's speaking of the Grove overcrossing. That was an area we wanted to build an overcrossing over the tracks. A lot of people ask, well, why don't you do it at 88th or at 4th? Because it'd be well over $100 million. On 4th, you'd have to buy up all those businesses underneath. You can't wipe out access. You'd wipe out access to Beach and Cedar, and you'd have to have a 5-lane overpass. On 88th, to go over the tracks, which are right by State, you would go over State. Well, most people want to get on State. How do you get them back? You got the cemetery. So in the study we did, really the only way to do it feasibly, financially, and without wiping out a lot of access was Grove. And so we studied that. We've got the state granted us $500,000 to do engineering work, so we're at 30% design on that, ready to go for construction dollars. In that package I mentioned to you that has the 529 interchange money in it, it also has $5 million towards this Grove Overcrossing project in it. So if that package passes, we will be able to move that project forward to the next phase and hopefully get it going. It wouldn't be enough to fully construct it, but it would keep the progress going. So because I don't have full construction money, I can't tell you an end date, but I can say that the state's obviously invested in it with us, and so we hope that if this passes in the next 10 days, we'll continue to progress on that, and then maybe next year we'll have full construction money to finish it off. But our goal is to construct that at some point in the next few years. And so thank you for that question. Yeah, another one.
Yeah, as you know, the rail track goes right through State Street and runs along, but there's no barriers on either side. Mm-hmm. I've been surprised by all the suicides, people jumping in front of the train. Mm-hmm. Is there any plan to counter or to help prevent the suicide numbers that we're seeing there?
Yeah, that's a really awful and sad thing, both for the person committing suicide and then obviously for the train conductor who has to deal with that as well. I think, to be honest with you, the real answer, there's no way, you can put barriers up to stop cars from going across, but any human being, if they want to get on a track, it's going to be really hard to stop them, especially in the middle of the night or something. It just really is. That's the honest truth. So the key, I think, what we want to focus on is how do we stop people from wanting to commit suicide by train or any other way. And so suicide prevention is a real honest and growing area of need in our society. And I know we have folks focused on it here, from our chaplain team at our police department to those in our school district that work with, maybe younger people that are fighting these kind of things. Our mental health team that we've stood up in our police department just this past year. And as we expand our embedded social worker team this year, that'll have a mental health component to it as well. Hopefully, I think that's probably the team that will be closest on the ground to people that are living out in the community suffering from mental health. Most of those people are probably not in stable living conditions, so that mental health team will have access to them on the streets and whatnot and try and get them into some services. So yes, we're investing in that in all those ways, and And I appreciate the question. That's a good one. Yeah.
Good morning. Thank you for being here. I was just wondering if there's going to be any attention paid to the graffiti that's been everywhere now
Yes.
in Marysville.
Yes, there is, and there has been an uptick in graffiti. You're right. What we really need help with is we have an online reporting tool for graffiti on our website. Is that under the Public Works portion? Do we know? Yeah. Under the Public Works link on our website, there's an online reporting tool. You all can help us by reporting graffiti when you see it. If you drive by it, take a minute when you get home and report it online, because when we know about it, we'll get out there and work with the owner to get it fixed quickly. We do have ordinances in place that require it to get fixed. And if somebody's in a position where they can't paint it over, we actually, as a city, will help get that done. And we just did that recently in the Fred Meyer area where there was a real rash of it. So yes, we want to get it covered over. It's a top priority for our code enforcement team. We're a big city from Sunnyside all the way out to the Smoky Point area, from I-5 up to Highway 9. So sometimes we just don't see it. You notice it before we would in your neighborhoods. If you could report it, that would be very helpful. And we'll get on it. The goal will be to clean it up within a couple of days. So Chief and I have had a lot of conversations about that. And yes, it's a priority. And yes, we realize it's growing. And the reason it's important to clean it up quickly is the quicker that graffiti comes down, the less motivated those who paint it or what they put it on there, they want it to stay up for a while. So if it comes down the next day, they're not likely to continue hitting that area. Good question.
There's a lot of construction, multi-homes being built on 100th Street.
Yes.
Is there any plans to improve, like maybe 3 lanes all the way? And are the construction companies responsible for preparing the roads?
Yeah. Good, really good question. Yes, so there are mitigation fees, traffic mitigation fees that anybody who constructs a business or a home development or a multifamily unit does have to pay. So they do pay construction fees. A lot of times those things will go towards signalized improvements or right-hand drop lanes. For instance, when Walmart went up at the top of 528, right up by my neighborhood, we had a lot of concerned neighbors. Walmart they had to pay about, I think, $2 million in improvements. That's how you got all those right drop lanes and in and outs and double left turn off at 9. And it really alleviated pretty much all there isn't really a traffic issue most times in and out of there because of those improvements that they were to pay. So yes, that is a requirement. They will not be in any way close to being required to pay the type of money it would take to add an extra lane, because you have to have a nexus, right? If you put I think most of those are under 30 or 40 units. So, you can't show that additional traffic's going to, drive the need for a new lane. So we wouldn't be able to charge anywhere near that much, but they'll be required to make some improvements. We don't, just to be honest with you, we don't have any plans to widen 100th right now. What I would really say, some of these things are dealt with. When we punched 51st through, you can get all the way north and south in Marysville via 51st. So some of our tougher areas, like 100th and 88th is another real tough area. We've been trying to put a right-hand drop lane at 88th by the cemetery there, so you don't have to wait if you want to turn right when there's a train coming through or whatever. But it's really hard with the cemetery there. It's really, really hard to expand that and, obviously moving graves is not something that we have the right or the ability to do. You have a lot of things that go into something like that. 88's going to be a really tough area to improve. Yes, we're working on it. Tulalip's got some projects on their side of 88 that they're working on right now that'll help the overall impact. But right by state there, it's going to be tough. So what we talk about, the reason we punched 51st through is you can find ways to get to other roads. So if you're coming down 88th to 51st, I would encourage it. What I do, if you don't absolutely have to go over 88th, you peel off on 51st and you go south or north to get where you're going, then it lessens that impact on 88th. And I think 100th will be somewhat the same way, as maybe you just avoid going all the way up and down it if it gets to that point, and use 51st or use 47th that doesn't go all the way through. Some of these side streets that we try to improve are sometimes ways to improve areas that we can't necessarily widen. But that's a good question, but no plan to widen 100th at this point in time. Yes. Oh, hey, Ryan.
I'm just so grateful for you. And one thing we all know is that something's always broken, something always needs to be painted, and we just appreciate your leadership and helping to kind of address the issues. What I would love to know is what's keeping you up at night because you're excited about it? Is there something that's just like, wow, I can't believe we're doing this. I'm really excited to share that.
Yes. There's a lot of them. I'll just share a couple of them. One would be that extra lane on I-5 and that interchange project. I mean, you might laugh. I've been dreaming about that for 6 years. I can't wait to get that started. Just because that's, when you think about it, that's a massive project. Due to the leadership of a lot of people in this room, we're going to get an extra lane on I-5 and a brand new interchange. And then at 156th is another one that my friend Jim Collin and all the folks that have businesses up there at 156th or that live up in that area, we'll get a new interchange up there through Connecting Washington later into the 2020s. That'll be a while. But for all that growing area out there, you won't all have to use 172nd. You'll be able to get on and off I-5 about 156. So those excite me. Our police department really excites me. I love the expansion of our embedded social worker and mental health team. I love the work that Chief Scarpin's doing in really challenging times to balance the need for accountability and transparency, as well as making sure that our laws allow police officers to do their work. Really important work. Some of the most important work being done in the state right now is with our police chiefs and our police departments. So that excites me. And then I'll also say, just because I love jogging and running and getting out in parks and playing tennis and all that, Ryan, is all the great parks and trails that we're expanding on here in Marysville. We looked at a few of them there. I haven't played pickleball, but that's next on the list. But look at, a city like Marysville. You can get on, the Centennial Connector now, all those different things we went through. I just love our parks inventory. I'm on Bayview Trail almost every day, and I see so many people. And to me, it's about community, too. When I'm on that trail now, I'm talking and saying hi to people all the way up and down it. And, and our dogs are saying hi to each other. And just, that's about community, too, when you have parks and trails. So those kind of things excite me as we get those. So thank you for that. Anything final? Those were really good questions. I appreciate the time for questions. That's fun. If there are no others, I just want to say one last thank you to the Chamber and to you all for coming and to our community in general. Thanks for being such a great community, and look forward to continuing the conversation with you at any time. Thanks.
Thank you, Mayor, for that great presentation. Can we give him another round of applause, please? Now for the next portion of our event, please welcome Brian Trindler with Laugh Tech to the stage.
Adjust that just a little bit. Hello, everybody. How are we doing this morning? Oh, my God. Seriously, this is a full house. Let's try again. Good morning, everybody. How we doing? All right. My name is Todd 2.0. Okay, I'm going to have to work really hard to get reactions out of people, apparently. I'm definitely not as good looking, but I'm more rambunctious, so just think about that. Today, we're here not just to have bacon, not just to have the ability to listen to two incredible speakers. Thank you once again. Quick round of applause for our speakers. I love the fact that at the museum, we know that they're not weird. I love that. It's fantastic. That needs to be in a shirt. We need to raise a petition for that. We are here to do some open networking, table networking, okay? Are we ready for this? Okay, once again, everyone take a sip of coffee. Okay, are we ready for some table networking? All right, very good, very good. So what we're going to do is the person closest to the stage at every table, raise your hand. Let's do some quick numbers. 1, okay, 2 there, 1 there, 1 there. Okay, all of you either grab your watch, if you're wearing one, or grab your phone, and hopefully you can figure out what 45 seconds is, okay? All right, so at each table, you're all going to grab your business cards. Everybody put your business cards up in the air. Let's see some engagement here, and business cards in the air. All right. Some of you are holding up purses and wallets and stuff. I want to be at that table. Fantastic. So what you're going to do is you're simply going to go around the table. and spend 45 seconds talking about your business, okay? Now, we all love to talk about ourselves, right? Yeah. I've just been corrected. Do I have the bell? Yes, I have the bell. I'm just trying to give people some ownership here. Okay. But what we're going to do, once again, is the Table Network. You're going to give 45 seconds, talk about your business. I highly recommend that you mention something that separates you from your competition, okay? Because all of us have competition in some way, shape, or form, unless you're Laugh Tech. No one does what I do. But the cool thing is that a lot of you do have some competition. So try to seed an idea in the people at the table next to you or around you about what makes you different from everybody else, okay? Do you have any questions? All right, so I was reminded that I have a bell, so that means I'm responsible as well. But the first person closest to me, instead of having to gauge the watch, we're going to go ahead and let you go first. Does that sound fair? All right, because this is my first time, so be gentle. Okay. We're going to go ahead and start. Everybody, start networking right now. All right, everybody, give yourselves a big round of applause, please. Okay. I want to give special recognition to the tables that only had one or two people. If it's one, I apologize because you spoke to yourself for 5 minutes and you looked very strange. If you had two people, you had to give the same commercial 3 times each, and that's amazing. So good job, and a few others out there. Okay. Folks, the next part of this meeting, can I get your attention, please? Everybody, I'm looking at you, and maybe you. Actually, I'm lying. I can only see like 10 feet past the blinding lights here. It is amazing at how much this organization, this chamber, is growing month to month. And of course, it's all due to Yvonne, and I have to give her full credit because she can take me in a fight. She's very scrappy. But I'm really thrilled to be able to introduce the new member since our last BBH in the house, okay? So let me have the following people come up, and then you're going to have 1 minute on the mic, a lot like what you were just doing, except you're blinded with all of the lights. So let's have the following business representatives please come up to the stage. FDG Web, Lakewood School District, My Toy Store, Karen, I hope I'm saying that right, Karen and Company Restyle Design, Premier Martial Arts Marysville, St. James Gate Productions, Zenith Law Group. Can you all please come up and line up and you can have a commercial. Introduce yourself to the chapter. Yeah, round of applause. Oh, don't be... We have the shy ones coming up here. All right, 1 minute. Ready to go?
I got it. All right. Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Scott Peacock. I'm superintendent of the Lakewood School District, and I'm really pleased to be here this morning. I appreciate all the work that the chamber does, and it's really important that as a school district like Lakewood, we don't have a municipality that's at the center of our district. We straddle a couple municipalities, Arlington and Marysville. So it's particularly important that we not only think about who we are as a district and creating a sense of belonging for all of our students and families, but the partnerships that we have outside of our district with businesses in Marysville, with businesses in Arlington, and with the municipalities that we work with, like the city of Marysville and like the city of Arlington. These are really pivotal for us to be successful and to serve our families well. So I just am grateful to be here and grateful for all of you this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, good morning, everyone. My wife, Parisa, and I'm Tim Ellisor. My wife, Parisa, and I are pleased to have the opportunity to bring Premier Martial Arts to the Marysville community. So we're going to be located on 64th Street in the Allen Creek Shopping Center. So that's right there by the Bartels and the trampoline park. So Premier is a national brand headquartered in Knoxville, Tennessee. It's been around since 1998, but only began franchising a couple of years ago. So there's going to be several coming to the state, but the location we're going to be opening here in Marysville will be the first in the state of Washington. So about 3/4 of our students are going to be kids from 5 to 12 years old, the balance being teens and adults. And so, of course, we're going to be about fitness and self-defense and teaching people martial arts skills, but more importantly, for our kids 5 to 12 years old, we're really going to be focused on character development. So right now we're in the permitting stage, getting some bids on construction. hoping to get that kicked off here in the next couple of months. And the current outlook is we should be open in July or August. Yeah, happy to be here in the Marysville community and look forward to working with all of you. Thanks.
Notice I didn't time him because I was afraid to tell him his time was done. Go ahead, come on up.
Good morning. I'm Tom Harrison. I operate My Toy Store. So happy to be here. Happy to be a chamber member. My store is located at 1806 Hewitt Avenue in downtown historic Everett. I am a 12-year-old online company and a 3-month-old storefront. What do I have? I've got toys. I got collectibles. I've got an in-store Nerf range. I've got Funko Pops, because you have to if you open a store in Everett. I run free workshops and programs. I also feature local artists. So my ask is very simple of you. Come on down with your family and friends to downtown Everett, and as you're enjoying wonderful food, because we got some, and you're having some great fun, drop on by My Toy Store. And don't let the conservative dress fool you. I actually am all about fun. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, come on down. Welcome.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Fern Herbert, and I'm an attorney. I am the owner of Zenith Law Group, and I've been an attorney for 22 years. I have a presence in Arlington and a mailing address in Linwood, and also a presence in Kirkland. The area of practice in which I practice is wills, trust, and probate. That's something that just about everyone will eventually need. And I also do guardianships. And something that distinguishes me from a lot of other estate planning attorneys is that while you can come into my office, I will come out to you if you need me to. A lot of times my clients are older or infirmed, and they or their families may need me to come out to them, and I have the ability and will accommodate that. So I'm happy to be here and happy to be a member of the chamber.
Thanks. Hi, I'm Brooklyn St. James, and St. James Gate Productions. Well, it is named for the ancient West Gate leading to Dublin, and it is also, of course, the home of Guinness Brewing. So what does it do? It invests in motion picture television projects, and it also produces me, Brooklyn St. James, and our marketing arm, the Pink Dragon Group. My husband, Gordon Sparks, and I lead, teach, and mentor just over 3,000 small businesses globally, and we produce live and recorded webinars and master classes on topics that include things like financial growth, positive brand imaging, which I like to call rockstar branding, which is a master class we put together with some of our friends in the Rolling Stones. Net promoter scores that convert customers to brand evangelists, and of course, who could forget social media. So what's ahead for us? We are going to be launching our Apple podcast early summer, and we will be having guests who are successful people whose passions are things like empowerment and equal opportunity. So we're going to get some conversation started, and we're going to keep others going. Thank you.
All right. Another round of applause for our new members. Fantastic, everybody. All right, next up is going to be the showcase tables. Lots of tables today. Hopefully each and every one of you have already taken the time to meet folks, say hello, steal their hand sanitizers, pens. Sorry, there's police in the room. Liberate the items appropriately. Set out on the table. I see you giving me the thumbs up. Thank you. Okay. Don't check my record. Okay, let's go ahead and bring our showcase tables up, please. Marysville Historical Society, come on up. City of Marysville Parks and Recreation, Evergreen Goodwill, Hall Insurance Agency, Tina Hudden, sorry, you can, thank you. I'll just say Tina from Remax, and Village Community Services. Come on up and give yourselves another commercial, please. What's that? Okay.
Do I bring this down? Hello. I'm Tina Hudon with Remax Elite, and we have 5 offices here throughout Snohomish County, and I am your local specialist in real estate needs of buying and selling. And I just wanted to bring you a little news from January statistics. We're up 14.9% over last year in home sales. Our average sales price for Snohomish County is $686,000 right now. And the economists say that we're not in a bubble, and if you're interested in purchasing, this is the time. The next 3 or 4 years, we're going to continue to see raising in prices. So if you're in the home market and you're looking to buy or sell, I have a nice little table over here. Stop by, see me, connect, ask questions. I'd love to meet you. Thank you.
Come on down.
This is The Price is Right today. A funny thing is my brother was on The Price is Right. Come on down. It was fun to watch him. Okay, anyway, Rayanne Hall with Hall Insurance, and I've been doing insurance for 20 years. I've had my own brokerage for 10 years, and I really hang my hat on customer service. I'm here for you, so you don't have to have a 1-800 number, wonder who you're going to get. I could be that person for you and really take care of you. I help people with auto, home, business, and life insurance, and I have a little air freshener over there if you want to freshen up your insurance. I hope you'll give me a call. So for all your insurance needs, you know who to call, Rayanne Hall.
Me again. You should stop by our museum. We're open noon to 4, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays at 6805 Armagh Road. Also, the Pioneer Gale Home will open on Memorial Day weekend, open Saturday and Sunday, noon to 4 through Labor Day weekend. And then I'll be over here afterward with invites to our fundraiser on April 2nd, and I'm also selling tickets to that. Thank you.
How's it going? Hey, I'm Dave Hall with the City of Marysville with the Parks, Culture, and Recreation Department. And it's a city table, but they sent the parks guy up, so you're going to hear about Parks and Rec programs and what's coming next. So want to point you out to a few things, and I got a flyer over there. You guys can grab one if you like. But we've got some fun stuff coming up at the Marysville Opera House, at Jennings Park, and at Asbury Field in Marysville. So Wally and the Beeves, if you're a fan of Elvis or any music of that era, you're going to want to check that show out. The Mother Lovin' Market, and if you're a mom or know a mom, you're going to want to check that out. Come get some good items, some swag, and some support. And then Touch a Truck. If you got kids or grandkids or nieces and nephews, you need to come to Touch a Truck. They get to climb on rigs and honk horns and have a good time. So also want to point out the Opera House to you if you're looking for a corporate event, somewhere to have a party, a wedding, any kind of rental, we can help you out. And last but not least, if you would like to promote your business with us, we would love to have you sponsor one of our events at the Marysville Opera House. So if any of that sounds cool, come see me at the table afterwards. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Rhonda with Village Community Services. How many of you like trees? Yeah. Oh, that's sad. Okay, try to get. How many of you like trees? Okay, super. So Village Community Services is a nonprofit in Smoky Point. We serve all of Snohomish County and some of Skagit, and we are a nonprofit helping people with diverse disabilities achieve their best potential in life, whether it's getting them a job or getting them out in the community or teaching them life skills. So our Arbor Day fundraiser, which just launched, is all about helping people get those skills and those needs and develop them. So you buy trees, you give them education, grow people, grow trees.
She had to go out on a limb on that one. Sorry. All right, I'll leave it alone. Sorry.
Hello, my name is Sabina Rice, and I am with Evergreen Goodwill here in Marysville. If you have a junior that wants to take flight with us, I'm the youth program manager of the Youth Aerospace Program, and we are currently looking for high school juniors that want to go into STEM careers or want to work in the aerospace manufacturing industries. This is our 10th year of Youth Aerospace Program here in Marysville, and we are partnering, thank you. We're partnering with many of the local partners here in Marysville with the Tulalip Boys and Girls Club. Thank you. They have been a great partner to us. Parks and Recs, we do some service learning with them, and many other partners. This is a program that helps juniors not just get into good careers or college further education. Lots of our students become engineers. But also into apprenticeships and internships, and we also help them with all the wraparound services for their families. And we teach them life skills and all that. We have amazing events. So I hope to hear from you, and please reach out to any seniors. We do have a table here. I have some pictures. I have flyers. We hire our kids. So not only do they get hired and can prove that they have 2 years of employment when they're ready to go into their careers, we also give them the opportunity. We're big partners with EVCC. They get a composite certificate, a 5 college credit during the summer, and that gives them entry into any manufacturing industries. So thank you.
Hello, I'm Michael Gonzalez. I'm also with Evergreen Goodwill, and the reason we got a table this month is because we are starting our next class session for our computer programs classes. This is in South Everett. We've been open the whole time, and we have computer classes going on. We have our ESOL classes going on, as well as customer service essentials and life skills classes. As well as we get wraparound services. I'm an employment specialist for Goodwill for Snohomish County, so that includes Marysville. But if you are requiring other help in other areas, we're doing that as well. We serve 5 counties, King, Kitsap, Snohomish, Whatcom, and Skagit. As well as if you know anybody who's trying to get citizenship, we have citizenship classes going on. And all these flyers are right there on that table. Take a sanitizer, please. And I do mean please, because we have like many cases of it. Thank you.
All right, folks. We're running behind. For the record, it's not my fault, but I do want to make sure everyone realizes that all sponsor tables obey the no breakdancing rule. That's on this sign. So thank you for that. We're going to do the raffles really quickly. Kim Thompson, do you want to come up here and give me a hand because you're better at this than I am? Round of applause for Kim, everybody. I just want to see her milk it. Come on, still clapping, still clapping. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. If you have a raffle, sorry? If you have a raffle or an item to be raffled, come on up, please. Quick as a bunny, quick as you can. I have 2 as well, but we'll cover that at the very end. Surprise. Yep. There we go. Look at the floodgates here. All right. All right, as quick as you can, folks. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, so. He asked me if he wants me to show it. Depends on what it is, but yes. Okay. Go ahead. Okay. Let's have you introduce yourself, like 10 seconds, and say what it is.
I'm Frank Volker with Real Property Management. We are in Everett right now, and we are moving to wonderful Marysville. Not that Everett isn't wonderful, Mayor, but we're moving to wonderful Marysville on State Street, right next to Judd and Black. And I have a pizza blanket to raffle to keep you nice and warm on pizza night.
All right. Go ahead and draw the card, if you would. and hand it to me. Thank you. All right. The winner is Lily Cervantes, Cruise Planners. All right. Right. Oh, yeah. Right behind you. All right. Thank you. And we got to keep this pony running here. Hey. All right. Explain in 10 seconds or less what it is, and we're going.
Hi there, everybody. My name is Lily Cervantes with Cruise Planners. I can help you with all your travel needs, not only cruises and river cruises, but all-inclusive European tour packages, and as well as theme parks. So think of me of your travels. My name is Lily Cervantes with Cruise Planners. I can save you money, stress, energy, and time.
And what your item is?
I have a $50 onboard credit for a new booking as well as other travel goodies.
Thank you. All right. It's Raymond James, Muller Financial. All right.
I'm not quite as tall as you. All right, Rayanne Hall, and I actually own a nonprofit as well. I'm a founder of Now Networking, and we are a grassroots company organization that reaches out to members in the community, young women who have overcome abuse in adversity, and we help them through college, through a scholarship and a mentorship program. I'll tell you, when I was in the youth and I had hard things going through hard things, I know we'll get going. I just wanted to say that other people stepped in, and that's why we developed this organization. So we have 2 tickets to our main fundraiser March 31st.
All right, grab 2.
Okay. Super quick. All right, so this is going to actually Ronnie. Are you out there, Ronnie? All right, you got 2 tickets. All right.
Thank you. Next up.
I just put a bunch of stuff from our gift shop in this bag, and there is a book in here. So my apologies to whoever gets this. Felicia from First Financial Bank. Where is she?
She's right there. All right, go get her. Next up, let's do it.
Good morning. I'm Tracy Goolsby from Tulalip Resort. I'm giving away 2 tickets to our sold-out Sawyer Brown concert. So any country fans out there? The concert is March 12th at 8 p.m. Saturday night. Nice. Sabine Rice.
All right. Thank you. Okay. All right. Come on, Rhonda. Let's do it.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rhonda Snyder, business banker with Coastal Community Bank, and my goal is to make sure that you can reach out to your banker, you can call them, text them, and have a relationship with them. So if you don't have that with your banker, reach out to me, and I will help you with that. And I'm giving away, I have a little coffee cup, a Starbucks gift card, a pen, just some fun stuff. Sean Smith with Pure Clean.
All right. Thank you, Rhonda. Hi.
My name's Joanne Acton. I'm the Community Relations Director at Village Concepts of Marysville Grandview Village. And I am here today promoting our Shred event. So we've partnered up with Nancy Denny, who's actually one of our residents' family members. So we've partnered up with Nancy Denny of Motto Mortgage, and we're doing a Shred event March 19th, free Shred event at Grandview Village from noon to 3. And I've got some wonderful coffee mug, Starbucks card, 2. First one is Crystal Masters, Ace Handyman Services.
All right. Next up.
And Rhonda Snyder, Coastal Community Bank.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Running through them here. Hi.
My name is Tanya Seiler. I'm with the Goodwill Job Training and Education Center in Snohomish County, which is in Everett. And I just wanted to say that the classes that we offer are not just in person in Everett. They're hybrid. So if someone is at home or in Marysville and wants to take the class, they can take it online. So today we're going to, in the cause of digital literacy, we're going to give away 3 tablets. Used, new to you, because we upgraded our tablets that we use in our classes, and so there are 3 LG tablets. I'm going to pull 3 names.
Nice. Very gracious.
Oh, that's me.
Do you need a tablet?
No. It was me. Kim Reynolds, designer. Yep. And then Greg Cizic, Alaska. Kim's gone. Kim Reynolds? Oh, okay. Greg, cool, one more. Jacob Largo from Largo Tents.
All right.
Perfect.
Thank you very much. All right, last and not least.
All right, Dave Hall from City of Marysville. I got a $25 gift certificate to Bleachers Bar and Grill at the Cedar Crest Golf Course. So we would like you to go up there and enjoy a round of golf and then have some food and drink afterward at Bleachers. So the winner is... Yes. Crystal Humphrey.
All right, actually, thank you. Good job. All right. She's going to pull two names for me. I'm giving away two $150 sessions, or one for each person. Instead of $295, it's a 60-minute session, either via Zoom or in our Marysville. Sorry, I'd love to be, but in our Mill Creek studio, okay, for a Laugh Deck engagement session. Two cards. I'll let you don't drop my card. All right, Emily Salacia, am I saying that right? Emily? And Debbie Rice.
And I've got two prizes. I've got an ad from the Herald to be in the Coast magazine. It's a $175 value. Brian, will you grab a card for me? Draw a card. So this is for, I think, Joe Marine's still here. Yay. Do you want the ad? And then we got two business before hours for next month for our business-to-business networking event. So that goes to Corey Wilder from Washington State University. Perfect. Thank you all for your patience as we got through this. Let's give another round of applause to Peter from the Marysville Historical Society, to the mayor for his presentation, and to Brian for emceeing this today for us. We've got a lot of great upcoming events. Some of them are at the Opera House. Some of them are at the golf course. We have a big golf tournament. We are partnering with Strawberry Festival this year. We are going to do a golf tournament, which will be the kickoff to Strawberry Festival Week. June 11th is the date on that. Yes. And then Marysville Toyota has agreed to be our title sponsor. So, Jim, if you're still in the room, thank you for agreeing to do that for us. We are looking for sponsors for that. There's flyers over there, and we are also doing some raffle items, so take a flyer. Other upcoming events, March 10th is U.S. Bank's ribbon cutting. Join us for that. March 24th, we have a military resource fair coming up. And then March 25th is our next business before hours. That's all networking, so come join us for that. And just to end, again, thank you to our sponsor, Marysville Historical Society. Thank you to our chamber volunteers and emissaries for all their help today. Thank you to Tulalip Resort and Casino for their amazing breakfast. And a big thank you to all of you in attendance. We had a sold-out house today, so thank you all for being here. Have a good day and great weekend.
And afternoon.
And afternoon, I guess.